The campus of St. Augustine Medical University looked like a Gothic cathedral converted into an institution. Its towering brick walls, ivy creeping up the sides, and long, echoing corridors gave students the sense of being part of history itself. For newcomers, it was both inspiring and intimidating. Among those newcomers was Emily Carter, a determined young woman from a small Midwestern town. She had left behind her family and familiar world to pursue medicine, chasing the dream of becoming a doctor. The housing office handed her a set of keys with no explanation, but the older students exchanged knowing glances. Room 217 in the East Wing. No one told Emily the truth, because no one dared. There was an unspoken rule. You don't talk about room 217. The room was modest, but oddly pristine, as though it had been scrubbed too many times. The bed frame was old mahogany, the wallpaper faded with strange stains that looked almost like handprints. On her first night, Emily felt a draft of cold air, though the windows were shut tight. At exactly 2:17 a.m., she woke to the sound of slow footsteps pacing across the room. When she turned on the lamp, nothing was there, just shadows pressed against the walls like silent witnesses. By the third night, the footsteps became heavier, closer to her bed. Once, she swore she saw the mirror ripple as though someone's breath had fogged it from inside. One evening, Emily brushed her hair in front of the mirror. As the light flickered above her, another reflection began to take shape. It wasn't hers. The figure had sunken eyes, lips torn as though sewn shut and ripped open again, and blackened teeth that grinned without sound. Her hair hung wet over her shoulders. Emily spun around, but the room was empty. She looked back at the mirror. The figure still stood there, behind her reflection. The night it happened, the wind howled through the halls like a church organ. Emily lay awake, frozen. When the air grew so heavy, she felt her lungs collapse inward. From the shadows, the figure emerged, not from the door, but from the mirror itself. Emily felt her body arch upward, her skin burning cold. She tried to scream, but the sound was ripped from her throat, as if someone else had stolen it. The woman's figure pressed into her, sliding under her skin, her bones, her breath. Emily's body jerked violently, then went still. Her soul was pushed out. She saw her own body sit up in bed, her face wearing the other woman's smile. By morning, classmates noticed Emily had changed. Her once bright eyes seemed hollow, movements too precise, too studied. She stared too long, smiled at odd moments, and occasionally muttered to herself in a guttural tone no one recognized. Meanwhile, the real Emily, her soul, wandered the corridors unseen. She screamed at her friends, tried to touch them, but her hands passed through. Soon, strange disturbances began. Books fell off shelves in the library. Lockers slammed shut. Students heard their names whispered at night. But when they complained, professors and administrators told them the same thing. Medical school pressure causes hallucinations, anxiety, sleep paralysis, nothing more. Eventually, a janitor, one of the oldest employees on campus, spoke in hushed tones. Room 217 had once belonged to a young nurse named Margaret Hale. In the 1920s, she fell in love with a surgeon twice her age, who promised her everything, but abandoned her for someone else. Margaret hanged herself in that very room. But when they cut her body down, her face was twisted in rage, not sorrow. Her final diary entry read, "If I cannot live in this body, I will steal another." Since then, every decade or so, A new student assigned to that room would either disappear, drop out, or lose their mind. Now Emily's soul battled Margaret's spirit nightly. In the dark, her translucent figure stood at the edge of her old bed, glaring at her own body, now occupied by the intruder. Margaret laughed through Emily's lips. "This flesh fits me better than yours ever did." Sometimes the two shadows merged on the wall, two forms struggling in silence. Students walking past room 217 late at night claimed they heard two sets of voices arguing, but only one silhouette behind the window. One stormy night, the east wing was swallowed in blackout. Lightning illuminated the hallway, and through the open door of room 217, students saw Emily's body floating inches above the bed, her mouth open, unnaturally wide, screaming in two voices at once. The walls began to bleed, dark stains dripping downward like veins bursting open. Desks shook, windows cracked. The students fled, but one girl swore she saw two Emilys in that room, one standing at the mirror, pale and transparent, the other writhing on the bed with fire in her eyes. Then came silence. When authorities entered the room the next morning, they found two corpses. One was Emily's body, cold and lifeless. The other was a decayed female body in a nurse's uniform, as if it had been buried decades ago and unearthed overnight. There were no records of exhumation, no explanation, just those two bodies side by side. Room 217 was locked and sealed, but it didn't matter. Students walking down that hall still hear Emily's voice whisper, "Get out while you can." Others have claimed to see her reflection in the bathroom mirrors, her lips moving silently, begging them to run. Yet sometimes it's not Emily they see at all. It's Margaret, smiling through broken teeth, whispering, "Your body will do just fine." St. Augustine University officially declared the East Wing under renovation. But students know the truth. No one dares stay past midnight. No one dares look too long into mirrors. Because once Margaret tastes a body, she never lets it go. And some nights, when the halls are quiet, a shadow without an owner follows you, waiting for the moment you close your eyes, so she can crawl in and take your place.